The narrative opens with an ancient legend of the Amazon, according to which a mystical tree existed deep inside the jungle, which was called Tears of the Moon. It was rumored that just a single petal of its blossom could heal any wound and could erase any curse. For centuries, many explorers had set out in search of that tree, but the most renowned among them was the Spanish warrior Sam. He at all costs wanted to secure that magical power. Then Sam and his soldiers faced the treacherous jungle of the Amazon. But after some time, the jungle's real guardians found him and saved his life. As soon as Sam recovered, he demanded from them the arrowhead, which was considered the key to reaching that magical tree. But the protectors flatly refused this request. Therefore, Sam attacked them. But the price of this blunder cost him very dearly. Sam and his companions received a curse that from today onwards, they would never be able to go outside the Amazon River region. Then the scene shifts to the present, where a man named Bill was narrating this very tale in front of an audience. Showing the potential location of that tree on the map, he explained that if they could acquire the arrowhead, they could launch an expedition and find the Tears of the Moon. But in reality, this entire presentation was written by his sister Lily, and standing hidden upstairs, she was reciting every line along with him. After a while, Lily realized that her brother would not be able to convince the society to surrender the arrowhead. Therefore, she decided to manage the matter herself. When Bill started to distract everyone's attention, Lily quietly slipped into the corridors of the society. In her hand was a map that was supposed to guide her to the artifacts room. But on the way, she bumped into Prince Park. Park assumed that she was just looking for some assistant's office. Therefore, he let her pass without suspicion. Now Lily directly entered into the artifacts room. Then she swapped her clothes and put on boys' clothing so that no one's attention would track her. After a while, she located that crate in which the arrowhead was kept. As soon as she opened the box, she immediately swiped the arrowhead. But right at that time, suddenly a society member escorted Prince Park into that room as well. It turned out that Park was also hunting for the same arrowhead, and as soon as they opened the crate and looked, the arrowhead was gone. Just then, Park's eyes suddenly fell on Lily, who was trying to slip away from there. Prince Park immediately ordered his guards to seize Lily, but Lily was not one to surrender so easily. Using her sharp wit and agility, she outsmarted everyone one by one. But in the end, she confronted Park himself, and he blocked Lily, and the very next second Lily tumbled out of the library window. But fortunately, she gripped a ladder present there. But then Park untied the rope secured to the ladder, causing her to swing even further away. Then Park told her that if she desired help, she should surrender the arrowhead to him. Then Lily, without uttering a word, threw the box towards him and herself directly jumped into that bus which her brother Bill had stopped for her at the perfect moment. Then Park immediately opened the box, but to his shock, inside, the arrowhead wasn't there at all. Seeing this, a member of the society began to apologize to him, but as soon as Park discovered who Lily was, he lost his temper and slaughtered everyone. A bit later, we find that Lily and Bill were preparing to journey to the Amazon. Their goal was to find that magical tree, meaning the Tears of the Moon. They were completely certain that with the help of that magical tree, a cure for many of the world's fatal diseases could be found. They had mapped out their entire route. Now only one detail was missing. They needed a boat captain who could navigate them deep into the Amazon River. Following this, the camera cuts to the Amazon jungle, where on an old and quite sketchy-looking boat, some English tourists were enjoying a cruise. The captain, meaning the skipper of this boat, was Frank, a man who was an expert at making money by making fools out of people. He had built his entire cruise enterprise on a single idea, that everything in the Amazon could kill a human. Taking advantage of this terror, he used to charge extra cash from tourists. He performed various kinds of acts and stunts so everyone would think they were part of some perilous adventure. Even he had paid a local tribe so that they would support him in his lies. On the flip side, Lily and Bill had also reached a small outpost situated on the banks of the Amazon, where Frank operated his entire business. But they remained unaware that Prince Park's henchmen were also tracking them. Well, Lily was exceptionally thrilled about her mission, and as soon as she arrived, she immediately set out in search of a skipper. Her eyes were fixed on a man named Roy, who seemed to be the owner of most of the boats present at the dock. Over there, we find that Roy confronted Frank, who had just returned with his boat. Roy demanded him to clear his debt, but Frank did not possess the full amount of cash. Therefore, Roy removed his boat's engine and kept it locked away. He flatly stated that the engine would only be returned when the entire debt is fully cleared. Soon after, Lily and Bill split up to look for Roy, and during this time, Lily arrived in front of Roy's office, where instead of Roy, she encountered Frank. In reality, Frank had sneakily broken into Roy's office. His goal was purely to swipe the key to get his boat's engine back. But when Lily reached there, he immediately introduced himself as Roy, so that she wouldn't suspect a thing. Then Lily mentioned that she needed to travel to a specific destination deep inside the Amazon River, and she was ready to pay a handsome sum of money for this job. Hearing the mention of cash, Frank opened the door. Lily walked straight inside and, without wasting time, unveiled the map and started explaining where she needed to reach. Meanwhile, Frank was still pretending to be Roy. He said that the place where Lily wanted to go was exceptionally dangerous. Well, then he inquired where she got this map from. Then Lily, brushing the matter aside, said that it is a very ancient and accurate map. Additionally, it is the last keepsake of her father, who used to tell her stories of the tears of the moon since childhood. Hearing this, Frank burst out laughing and jokingly advised Lily to go on some other expedition. Just then, Lily's gaze fell on the box which Frank was trying to open. She immediately understood that Frank wanted to steal the key, but the surprising thing was that she unlocked the box herself. Just this trait Frank liked, and he decided to take up this job. Then he escorted Lily to a restaurant to finalize the deal. They both were just debating over the price of the journey when Bill arrived there with the real Roy. Lily immediately understood that Frank had fooled her. She said goodbye to him and started to leave, but as she was walking away, Frank's eyes fell on the arrowhead, which Lily was wearing around her neck. Seeing the arrowhead, his curiosity grew even more. Now he at all costs wanted to secure the role of Lily's guide. Therefore, he continuously kept slashing his fee and kept saying that no one better than him could take her to that destination. But just at that moment, a wild jaguar suddenly entered the restaurant. Seeing it, Roy hid in fear while Frank stood defensively in front of Lily and Bill. For a while, he had a good fight with the jaguar, and then throwing a chunk of meat outside, he chased the jaguar away. Seeing Frank's style of dealing with the beast, Lily's trust in him solidified, and she hired him as her guide right then and there. Shortly after, Frank arrived at the pier to pick both of them up. But the troubles were not over yet. In fact, some local thugs working for Prince Park kidnapped Lily. Over there, Frank and Bill, to escape from Roy's men, set off with the boat. Fortunately, Lily didn't take too long either, showing immense running around and cleverness around the dock. She got rid of her captors, and finally Frank and Bill pulled her onto the boat. Then, as the three of them began to move away from there, Park received the news that Lily had slipped from his hands. Hearing this, he ordered his men to bring the submarine up. He wanted to reach the Tears of the Moon at any cost, because he believed that its power could help Germany win World War I. To begin with, Park started firing rounds at their boat, but when that was of no use, he directly launched a torpedo at them. It felt as if it was impossible for Sam and his companions to survive now. But at the final moment, Frank steered his boat so cleverly that the torpedo couldn't even touch them. But during this chaos, the submarine's propeller suddenly got tangled in a thick rope, and the very next moment, the entire submarine dragged towards the dock. Its collision was so massive that almost all of Roy's boats were destroyed. Now Frank, Lily, and Bill had finally set off in search of the Tears of the Moon. During the journey, Bill, due to the intense heat, used to remain quite troubled. But Lily was enjoying every single second of the Amazon. Every exotic animal visible around the river would excite her. She kept continuously shooting videos with her camera. Even Frank became a part of her footage. Frank found the camera quite interesting, so he also started trying to operate it. And meanwhile, a slight spark also began to appear between the two. But suddenly, an alternate idea came to Lily's mind. She told Frank to steer the boat on a new route. This path was more hazardous, but it could make the journey significantly shorter. Frank did not like this idea at all. He tried a lot to explain to Lily, but when she didn't relent, he accepted her terms out of compulsion. Then, as soon as it became night, Frank moored the boat at the shore so that the engine could rest for a while. Here Bill went to sleep while Frank and Lily sat on the deck and started talking. Gradually both started understanding each other better. But just then, a strange accident happened to Bill. He faced the Jaguar Sally, who reached straight to the deck. Bill froze out of terror, but Frank calmly called out to Sally, and the very next moment, she began licking Bill's face. Then Lily came to know that Sally was actually Frank's pet jaguar. Knowing this, she became quite angry. She felt Frank had deceived her, and whatever little trust she had placed in Frank was also broken. Meanwhile, on the other side, Park had also altered his route. His intention was to find Sam and his cursed companions, because he felt that those very people could help him reach the magical tree. Then, after some time, he reached the place where centuries ago ago, Sam and his men were entombed. There Park went near Sam's body, that turned into stone, and poured a little river water onto it. The very next moment, 2 snakes emerged from his body. It turned out that those snakes were a part of Sam himself. Through them, Sam spoke to Park. Then both forged a deal. Park would help find the arrowhead, and in return, Sam would take him to the Tears of the Moon. After this, the snakes swore an oath to this deal, and then Park freed Sam and his companions from their imprisonment. Meanwhile, the next morning Frank and his companions had finally reached the perilous rapids of the Amazon. As they moved forward amidst the dangerous water, Frank somehow managed to navigate the boat. Despite the fear, Lily kept insisting that they move ahead on this very path. Midway through the journey, their boat was almost about to plunge down a dangerous slope. Seeing this, everyone held their breath. But Frank controlled the boat just in time and brought it toward calm water, after which they all breathed a sigh of relief. Well, after a while Frank and Bill started collecting wood for the engine. Then Bill revealed why he had come on this mission with Lily, even though he was not adventurous like her at all. Actually, when he realized that he was gay, Lily was the only one in the entire family who stood by him, and because of this very reason, he was ready to follow her anywhere. While they worked, Lily secretly slipped into Frank's cabin, and there she uncovered a shocking thing. When Frank came back to the boat, Lily questioned him about the maps and documents found in the cabin. She felt that Frank was also in search of the same tree. Frank said that yes, it was like that at one time, but a long time ago, he explained that his reason for coming to the Amazon was also the same. He had also come in search of that magical power, but he could never locate it. But just then, the tribe hired by Frank suddenly ambushed them. For a while, those people kept running this drama in front of Lily and Bill. Frank, acting as an interpreter, facilitated the conversation between Lily and the tribe's chief. But when Lily took the interrogation a bit too far, the chief decided to end the entire drama. After some time, Lily asked the chief about the meaning of the markings made on the arrowhead. The chief told her that whoever sets out in search of the Tears of the Moon will have to turn water into stone and mend a broken heart. He also mentioned that the special flower on that tree blooms only during a rare crying moon, and according to them, that moment is going to arrive 2 days later. The chief said that to reach the tree, she would have to follow a snake that is biting its own tail. Upon hearing this, Lily remembered that she had seen the same mark on the map. She immediately looked at the map and tracked down that symbol there. Now Lily felt that she could reach there just by sitting in a boat without Frank. Therefore, she gave Frank his remaining payment. But that night, the village was suddenly raided by the cursed people, meaning the conquistadors. Their only objective was to acquire the arrowhead. Frank, Bill, and Lily began facing 3 different conquistadors. But during the fight, one of them snatched from Lily's neck the arrowhead and delivered it to Sam. As soon as he got the arrowhead, Sam began running from there. But Frank blocked his path, and a fierce battle started between the two over that artifact. But meanwhile, Sam stabbed Frank with a knife. But before falling down through the brush, Frank snatched the arrowhead back and tossed it towards Lily. Over there, the chief saved Lily and Bill's lives and brought them down safely. Then she told Lily to run away far from the site of the river because the conquistadors could not cross the water. Lily started running, but Sam's snakes reached her and tightly gripped her. Before Sam could do anything, the jungle dragged him and his companions back towards the river. When the conquistadors composed themselves, they understood that they now needed Park's help to reach Lily. Then one of Sam's companions sent his bees near Park so that he could get news of their condition. By the following morning, Lily encountered Frank and felt that he was absolutely fine. But when the chief and Bill arrived there, their eyes fell on the knife stuck in Frank's back. Now Frank had no option left but to confess the truth. He revealed that he too was once one of Sam's conquistadors. But before he could explain anything further, Lily had to pull the knife out of his body. However, the surprising thing was that even after pulling the knife out, Frank suffered no harm at all. Seeing this, Bill fainted right there. Once Lily revived her brother, they parted ways for a bit. She mentioned that she would complete the rest of the journey only with Frank. Over there, the bees of the cursed conquistadors had reached Park's submarine. Park invited them inside. One of those bees showed the location of the arrowhead on the map. Then between the two, a full conversation took place, seeing which Park's companions were also left astonished. Meanwhile, during the journey, Frank and Lily started talking about his life over the past 400 years. Frank stated that he was Sam's closest friend. For this very reason, he had come with him to the Amazon in search of the Tears of the Moon, because Sam wanted to rescue his daughter from the jaws of death. Frank used to make maps for Sam, and that map of the river which Lily Lily was using was also made by Frank himself. Frank had traveled with Sam deep into the jungle so that he could find the magical flower of the Tears of the Moon. But when he saw that the tribe which had saved their lives, what Sam was willing to do to them, then he understood that he could not be a part of it. Frank stopped Sam from taking the life of the chief's daughter. During this time, that girl fled with the arrowhead, and while taking his last breath, the chief cursed Sam and his companions. As centuries rolled by, Frank and Sam repeatedly collided with each other. Ultimately, Frank imprisoned Sam and his men in a cave, from where the jungle could not take them back to the river. For the next 300 years, the jungle twisted and distorted their bodies, gradually turning them into terrifying monsters. Lily kept listening to all this carefully. Then she asked Frank how he spent the past 300 years. Frank mentioned that he had founded the very town where Lily found him. Over these years, he made many friends and lost them too. Later, he started searching for the Tears of the Moon. He built his boat and searched the entire river, but he found nothing. In the end, getting exhausted, he gave up the search and became a tourist guide. In this extremely long life of his, he had also raised quite a few big cats. At that moment, Prince Park in his submarine reached Bill. He captured Bill and forced him to reveal the location of the Tears of the Moon. Out of compulsion, Bill pointed out on the map the place. Immediately after this, Park killed the conquistadors' bees so they could not convey this information to Sam. Simultaneously, Frank and Lily were also advancing toward the same spot. During the journey, Frank told Lily that when he gets the Tears of the Moon flower, what will he do? He said that he would have two choices, and he would choose the path that would ultimately give him peace. The next day, they reached a part of the river where no way forward was visible. Lily felt that maybe that was the very place mentioned in the arrowhead, where water turns into stone. Then Frank leaped into the river and went down. There he found an ancient chamber where a lever was installed. But after returning, he told Lily that she would have to go inside and open the lever because he himself couldn't fit into that space. Hearing this, Lily panicked because she didn't know how to swim, but eventually Frank convinced her that they had no other way, and then both descended into the water together. Now as soon as Lily reached inside the chamber, she pushed the lever, but as soon as the lever was pushed, the door closed. Seeing this, Lily became terribly frightened. Then Frank gave her some air by kissing her so she could breathe. Then Lily somehow pulled that ancient lever completely down. Over there, a school of piranhas broke upon Frank. Gradually, all the water from there began draining out. But until the water completely drained out, Lily remained trapped inside. When Frank finally reached her, he felt that Lily had drowned. But the very next moment, Lily's eyes opened and she slapped Frank because he had left her alone there. While drying off and changing clothes, both realized that they had finally tracked down the real location of the tree. But just then, another big trouble came in front of them. As soon as the rest of the water there drained out, they saw that Park was also present there, and he had held Bill as his prisoner. The matter grew even worse when a bee of the conquistadors, which was secretly following them, went back and revealed the location to the cursed conquistadors too. Without delay, Park snatched the arrowhead from Lily. Then he forced Frank to take everyone inside that cave where the magical tree existed, using his steamboat. But when they reached the tree, it looked dead for centuries. Then Park told Lily to make the flower bloom on the tree, because how to do this very few people knew. But Lily refused. Then Frank said that he would do this job, but in return, he would need one petal of the flower. Now Park agreed to this point, but he kept Bill hostage with him. Then Frank took the arrowhead from Park and began searching for the way forward. When he didn't succeed immediately, Park forced Lily as well to help him. Then both together started solving the puzzle, and that's when they found out that the arrowhead actually wasn't an arrowhead at all. In fact, it was a heart. According to the markings, they broke it and extracted a magical piece from inside it. Then that piece on a part of the stone was placed, and the mended heart on the other side. As soon as this happened, the magical power of the tree began to manifest. In the moonlight, that tree slowly began to bloom, and within just a few moments, it became completely filled with flowers. But just as the tree fully bloomed, a shocking twist occurred as Lily shot Frank. Upon being hit by the bullet, Frank fell down into the depths of the cave. Over there, Park immediately ordered his men to pluck all the petals before the crying moon ended. In the meantime, Frank from Park's men saved Bill. Then with the help of Sally, both together recaptured the steamboat. Then Lily climbed up the tree so she could acquire a petal. But to pluck it before the crying moon ended, she had to run very fast. Finally, she plucked one petal of the tear of the moon. But at that moment, she fell down from the tree, and Prince Park was already present there. He threatened Lily once again, and said to hand over the petal to me, otherwise no one will be able to save you and your brother. Home. Suddenly, the entire tree suddenly began to break. To save her life, Lily let go of the petal and grabbed Park. Meanwhile, on the other side, Frank caught the falling petal. But the story was not over yet. Just then, the cursed conquistadors also reached the tree, and they killed Park. After that, they went after Lily, but Frank drew their attention toward himself by showing the petal and forced them to follow behind him. Frank left Bill at a safe place and ordered Sally to stay with him so she could protect both Bill and Lily. Then Lily came down from the tree near her brother, and both saw that Frank was driving his boat straight toward that ancient monument. The conquistadors started fighting Frank to acquire the petal, but Frank faced everyone one by one and kept stopping them. In the end, he faced Sam. Sam asked him for the petal once again, but then it was revealed that the real petal was actually with Bill so that he could give it to Lily. The very next moment, the boat went and crashed into that ancient monument, and because of this collision, the river water stopped coming inside the cave. The jungle immediately took the conquistadors into its grip, and because they could no longer reach the river, the jungle turned Frank along with all the conquistadors back into stone. After a while, Lily reached that place, and she decided that she would give the petal to Frank so that his curse could be broken. Along with this decision, she also put her dream of helping humanity at stake. But the surprising thing was that nothing happened. Out of compulsion, Lily and Bill left from there, while Sally kept waiting for her master. Just then, Lily heard the sound of Sally roaring loudly. She turns around to look and was astonished to see Frank had come alive. Lily ran straight into his arms, and then they saw that the magical tree had left another petal for them. Sometime later, everyone returned back to the city. Now Frank said goodbye to Roy and set out toward London from those jungles of the Amazon. In the final scene, we see our hero and heroine on the streets of London. Both are completely happy, and as their pet cat have kept a Jaguar. If you liked the video, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.